All right. It looks like it's recording. Is that right? All right.
Yes.
This is the Mayor Managers meeting on October the 20th at 12:04 p.m. And in the Teams meeting room is Linda Olson, Allison McKinney-Brown, Jade Truscott-Reed, Stephanie Carlisle, and Shawn Lewis. And Nathaniel Sierra can't make it today.
Good morning, Mayor. Can you hear my heater in the background? I can turn it off.
It's not bothering me.
Okay. It's gotten so cold in my office suddenly. All right, starting with October 26th, we've got study session item financial review, and let's see, also study session. And Jade, were we going to put this before the financial review, the US 85 Plan Environmental Linkage Study update?
I wanted to check in with you guys first. We typically have the financial review go first, and then we have most pressing concerns follow after. If it's your guys' pleasure, I'm happy to move this first and have the financial review after.
Mayor, that was a request of Maria DeAndrea. Is that okay with you?
It's fine with me if everybody agrees.
Okay. And then the next item is.
And how long did you want to put the time in on that one?
Sure.
Oh, because she has a garbage citizens committee. Okay. Garbage, trash hauling. So how long do we think? Oh, yeah, this is an update on that. I'm so glad she's doing this because I can't explain it very well to people. I don't think there'll be more than 10 to 15 minutes discussion, do you?
No.
It's more just information. Why don't you put 15 on it just in case? I think there's some misunderstandings of this too, so.
All right, nothing big on September financial review. So, yeah, 5 or 10 minute presentation.
Last time, maybe we had 10-minute discussion, 5-10 minutes discussion. We did have some conversation last time, didn't we? It was.
Seems like.
It seemed like they're asking questions about. Yeah, I'm not going to recall.
And then integrated snow response plan is a 15-minute presentation.
So this item will need to be rescheduled as well. And I may need help. We have loaded up a lot of our study sessions coming out to the end of the year. So I may need some advice on where you would like to have this rescheduled, but will unfortunately not be able to go this meeting.
Okay, we'll look at the future meetings if that's all right in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got the study session to review new utility billing software vendor selection. That is a 20-minute presentation.
Sorry, I'm looking at my own screen too. I don't know. What do you think? I think most of this is going to be just questions about how we make sure it's clear, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people will have a lot of questions about this?
I'm not sure.
It's presenting the actual vendor selection, and which is kind of, what's that? Cog Sale. Sorry, I can't read it. And so it's explaining their billing style. Is that what it is?
It's our reasons for selecting them. In particular, this is important because we are going with the most expensive system.
Okay.
So we really want to explain to council our justification for that.
Will there be a comparison to the other ones so we could see what the choice was? Obviously there will be, right?
I think we will yeah, let you know what the other vendors were, who they were, and what the shortcomings were, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I would say 15 to 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Is it a big change in funding between them all?
It is.
Difference?
It is a pretty sizable difference.
Oh, okay. And okay, so maybe for sure 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think that'll be adequate. I mean, we actually have the funding built into our financial model, so
Okay.
based on the rates that you guys are looking at. And then the next one is study session item on mutual aid and emergency response that Allison will be presenting. 10-minute presentation, 15 for discussion, looks like.
Yeah, this is the one I've been talking to you guys about. I just got the draft out to the directors, and they need some time to review it because they look at this issue from a different perspective than I do. I'm not next Monday. I need a new date.
Okay.
All right, we'll put that one in the parking lot. November 2nd, we have 3 study session items so far: the trolley discussion, review food truck registration process. In that presentation, let's whittle that down to 10 minutes. Jade, thank you. The trolley discussion, I think we can whittle that one down to 10 minutes as well. And so how long do you want for discussion on those here?
Well, if the trolley discussion isn't more money, there won't be much of a discussion, will there? That's really what it is?
I need to, yeah, well, it is options for funding. I think planning is, community development is prepared to discuss options with you on if we don't get the funding, are you prepared to, pull that from unassigned fund balance? So there could be a little more meaty discussion, but I'm not sure.
When do we think we'll know?
We won't know until later in November when the RTD budget is finalized.
And is the reason for having this conversation so that, I mean, it seems like we should almost just wait till they decide. Why have the conversation if we don't have to? I mean, why go through the brain work? Does it matter if we don't do it until the end?
The timing is for this is because we have to sign an agreement with our MB Transportation, which is the provider. And so we just need a little bit of council direction.
Okay.
Or RTD decides so that we know, are we going to be negotiating, basically to create 2 different tracks of negotiation and be ready to make a decision shortly after the RTD budget is out.
Okay. That makes sense.
Multiple contracts coming to us at the same time.
Can you tell them a P on the Myers-Briggs?
All right. So maybe we should put on discussion on that one. What do you think? 20 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think discussion on the food truck, we're literally just going to be telling you the plan for reviewing that in the coming months. So maybe
10 minutes. Yeah.
Police task force review. This one will be a little bit meatier. I think probably 20 to 30 minutes for presentation. And Mayor, we do have 2 residents of the community that are going to help present that.
Uh-huh.
I think it'll be nice.
Who are they?
Amy He is one of them, and I didn't get in the notes. I was taking notes, and I didn't get the second one, but I'm sure someone filled in the blank on that.
Great.
One of the gentlemen on the committee.
That's great. I would imagine we're going to have, I would think, oh, is this a regular meeting?
It is.
Ooh. Well, maybe they're going to give us a presentation and we're going to ask some questions and then come back and do a whole nother thing on it. How are you thinking? Like, this could take an hour.
I agree. I mean, I think probably you should allocate at least 40 minutes of discussion, or 30 at the least.
Yeah. Is that me or you?
Sorry, I think it's me.
Oh, okay. I just thought that's a new one on mine.
So maybe on the trolley discussion, we should, we certainly can't add anything to this study session. We may have too much on this already, but do you want to just leave it for now?
Yeah, let's leave it for now, but I do think it's too much.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Cog Sale. This is the contract with Cog Sale. Next is recommendation to award a contract to HS3 for the security cameras. Award of a contract to Sabel Civil and Landscape LLC for Santa Fe and Union concrete pavement reconstruction. We've got a change order for the purchase of the sodium hypochlorite for the Allen treatment plant. What's happened here is we've processed more water than ever, probably because people are home, they're watering their grass more, and we have expended our POs, purchase orders, for a lot of our chemicals. So now these collective POs are above my purchasing power. So we're going to need to bring these to you, council,
okay.
to approve them. So this isn't something you normally see, but this is, these are going to be bigger than normal. Next, we have the right-of-way abandonment applications for Swedish. I thought we had the other one on here.
I did too. Is there?
And then we have sewer utility rate increase ordinance, the IGA with CDOT for the 285 congestion mitigation, and second reading of the IGA with the school district, second reading on stormwater utility rate increase, second reading on model traffic code adoption, and second reading, oh, no, sorry, that's moving into the next meeting. Any questions on those?
No.
All right, your November 9th meeting is your board and commission interviews. Stephanie, how are we doing on applications for that this year?
Really well. So we've already got 12 people, new applicants that'll need interviews. So we did really well, because with reappointments, we're going to have more applications certainly than we do openings.
That's good. I
Yeah.
know we're going to get more. When's the deadline? Is it the end of this month?
26.
No. When is it?
The 26th.
Oh, Monday next week. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got 12 so far, and we still have, time for more to come in. So
Yeah. Stephanie, I'm sure you've already done this, but can you send a separate email to council just asking them to forward the applications to their constituent groups? I feel like that's a big source of our applicants usually. Is that all right with you, Mayor?
Yes, yes.
okay, so to send the application out.
Well, send a link to the application to council members and ask them to send it to their various constituent lists, because they each have.
We've done that one other time, just letting them know that this is the deadline and here's the link, but we'll go ahead and do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got one from Tony, unless people aren't on that too, just the other day. But I think one last push saying Monday's the deadline. Just a reminder. Do you have like how many? Where are the openings? Did I see that? Or am I just blending these all together?
Well, Jackie, I can share. Jackie just sent me the little spreadsheet. on that. If you want me to pull it up.
I'm thinking that more that council might want to know where they are to be going after certain people for different kinds of things. I mean, it's hard to recruit people and then have there not be openings in an area that, you know, we recruited them for.
I think that's part of the situation too. But yeah, why don't we put a little summary together? I don't want to send a whole spreadsheet just yet.
Yeah.
We'll summarize where we're at as of now. We'll reiterate the deadline and then attach a link to the application.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. But needless to say, it's going to take the full time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Moving on to November 16th, we have a discussion of Mile High Flood District Floodplain Property Acquisition Fund as your first study session item. Second one is asset management. And that's really kind of how we're approaching asset management, what our plans are for 2021 and 2022.
Right. We already put the time in there last week.
I guess so. Yeah, so this actually might be one, depending on how much time that, you know, we were looking for places to plug in those items we had to move. Is this?
Yeah.
Before a meeting, but I don't think asset management, maybe that is 30 minutes of discussion. I'm not sure.
Well, it's been a hot item that people have wanted, so just to understand it and know what our process is. And
yeah, well, in that discussion of the floodplain property acquisition fund, that could be a lengthy discussion too. Not that you have to make decisions on that, but you know, we want to gauge the council's interest in property acquisition to protect you know, properties from flooding, because I think that there may be a bit of a timeline on applying for those funds or turning in projects. What's interesting is Mile High reached out to us directly to say, hey, just so you know, we have this money, you want to buy some properties?
oh my gosh.
That's going to take council action.
Okay.
So I don't know that this is a good candidate for adding an item, actually.
Yeah.
Because those are pretty beefy. Probably 45 minutes each.
Yeah. And what about, what did we leave in the parking lot? Is anything really, really timely there that we need to hurry up and get it in?
Allison or Stephanie, I think you had those.
I just put the Title 7, Chapter 7 in basically to keep myself on track with getting those things complete and out. So I don't know that there's any urgency to getting that on in the next 60 days. I mean, I can see that we've got a really packed agenda. So where it fits in, it'll fit in. It'll be fine.
Okay, great. Just don't want to overlook one. And the snow thing probably needs to come sometime during the winter. When does Maria want to do that? She's the one who asked to be rescheduled, right?
Yes.
Correct.
She,
I do know that on the one down from that, the one with Maria Sabata, an email went out yesterday with some questions of whether it should be rescheduled, only because not everyone can kind of be at this particular meeting. So I don't know, Shawn, if you saw that email, but that's why that one I think has the date change question mark on it. But I don't know about the snow response.
why don't you just get with your staff directors, Shawn, and figure out when do they absolutely need to have it done, and then propose a time.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it's these, and frankly, I kind of foresee the study session being pretty tight from now on if we really make a focus on the strategic plan. So hopefully we can all keep things on the schedule and get those scheduled. I am lost. Where are we here? Did you zoom us back up? Oh, yes, you did.
So I went up to the top 3. Now we're back on November 6th or 16th. And we've decided not to add or move that, the snow.
We haven't found a place for it yet. I don't think it is going to fit on the 16th.
Okay.
So moving on to the regular session of that meeting, public hearing on the vacation of right-of-way on South Grant. First reading of vacation for Swedish. So yeah, the Swedish one comes a week earlier, I guess. Or a meeting earlier.
So South Grant is the one, the fellow last night that came on, right? Yeah, Kevin.
Correct.
Yes.
Phasing, okay.
And I don't know if you've got the council request on that, Mayor. I attributed that to you. I couldn't remember exactly who, but I just asked staff to compare and contrast the process and review of the applications for both Swedish and that one.
That's great.
Okay. And then we have motion to approve contract with MV Transportation. That's the one for the trolley. And what's kind of, yeah, forcing our hand on the RTV trolley discussion. We have a first reading for amendment to the IGA for CDOT for rehabilitation and widening of Dartmouth Avenue, the bridge rather, over South Platte. And then bill for an ordinance, first reading of the 3% lodgers tax. This assumes that it passes, I believe, on November 3rd, which remains to be seen, but we're planning for it. And then CB 52 farm lease for South Platte Renew, and 2021 rate and fee resolution. Any questions on those? You're not ending the year with a light schedule, Mayor. Sorry.
Oh, no. How do these other councils end up with not doing very much? Oh,
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how can people say that we're not doing anything, and we need to go back to work.
Yeah, I wonder. All right, so on November 23rd, we've got the 2020 financial review for October. We've got a sustainability presentation and discussion. And then we have the quarterly strategic plan update. This is something that will be appearing on your agendas on a quarterly basis, obviously, from now on. Just to give you a quick update, I kind of envision it being similar to the monthly financial review, but it'll just be more in your packet, as here are the ones that we've made progress on. Here are the ones that we're haven't started, that sort of thing. But I think I told you we're developing dashboards to kind of show the public that too, using a red, yellow, green system for where we're at with each one of the strategic plan goals. And then, of course, these are all study session. Economic development update. This is just really talking about our programs because of the strategic plan focus, a number of goals that were ranked high from council on, what are we doing to help retain and grow small business? So we'll focus on that. And then we tentatively have a wayfinding placemaking presentation with council. This will be assuming that during today's meeting on wayfinding and placemaking, we come up with at least 3 designs that we want to forward to council before we start talking to the public, because we really feel like if we don't have the council on board for any of these designs, we should know that before we take those to the public. So
yeah,
and that'll be kind of in a voting, I think, format, public, I think. And then December 7th, oh, well, is this one, let's see, we got 10.
Can we go back to this for a second on the sustainability one? I know this was a thing that Joe Anderson brought up last night. Is there, I don't know who does the liaison work with KEB from staff, but are there ways we can see that citizens from that group could be more involved in sustainability? I mean, they wanted us to brainstorm what they can do. I'd like them to brainstorm what they think they could do too. But it'd be nice if we had some staff guidance on where can we what kinds of things can a committee like that be really helpful in?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We have not put that kind of game plan for that presentation together yet, but
Okay.
right now what we've got is a survey out to all supervisors and higher to really talk about, get an inventory of what we are doing that already fits into the category of sustainability, because we think that'll be a good starting point, and then kind of talk about for 2021, laying out a plan that frankly we wouldn't be able to fund in 2021, but maybe 2022. If we can get the plan put together, this is kind of the process that we followed with restorative justice, where we worked for a year to put together a plan that we then have a budget request for at the end of the year to start a program in the following year. So yeah, that's kind of what we're leaning towards right now. We also got word from CU Denver that they have some graduate students that are available for kind of capstone projects, and Tim had suggested that maybe we could use one or more of those students to help us put together kind of a sustainability plan, but it's really going to depend on the appetite of council.
Oh, I think that sounds great. I love it when we can use interns like that.
Yeah. So this would be a place, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics, but they're not super weighty topics that I don't think the discussion will be that extensive on these. So this might be a place for us to add in some of those other topics.
Okay, the snow plan might be good.
I think that this would be good for that. And then Allison, remind me, is yours an item study session or regular?
Mine is a study session item, and I don't think it's going to be very complex. So I'm thinking a 10-minute presentation and 10 minutes of questions.
Oh, that's easy.
I know it's a lot of topics, but
We
that
keep
keeps
moving.
the zipper a little bit lighter. If we covered both of those, maybe.
Smorgasbord
Yeah.
evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I've relocated both of those to November 23rd.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right, 2 meetings in December, yes. So we have on December 7th, we'll have walkability in Inglewood. This is like another strategic plan item. Return to in-person meetings, board and commission handbook. Well, those 3 items on study session. So I think maybe we can get all those covered, maybe. And then an easement, moving on to a regular session of that meeting, easement agreement with Colorado Water Conservation Board for Big Drag Creek diversion project. First reading the vacation right-of-way for Grant Street. Easement agreement ordinance, and this is for the Big Drag Creek diversion project. Student, oh.
wait a minute. That's 2 different ones on the same thing, isn't it?
On the easement agreement?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I will clarify.
It differently.
Yep, I'll clarify to see if they need the motion or if they need the ordinance or if they need both. And if so, why we would need both.
Yeah, good catch. And then we have the student calendar recognition for the student art.
Oh, that usually is that can take some time, right? So.
Yes. Although it might be more efficient on Zoom, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that will be at the beginning of the meeting, right?
It'll be before we go into voting, correct? Or, well, I guess before we go into the regular items.
Yeah.
I might actually put that at the top of that meeting, right, Jade?
Correct. Yep, I will relocate that.
I mean, there's nothing that we have to do in voting with it, right? So it's just a presentation. All right.
Yes. And then we've just got 2 items for the study session so far on December 14th, and that is resident safety and transportation safety. And this will really, sorry that we don't have more detail on this, but again, these are based on the goals in the strategic plan that ranked highly among council.
Okay.
We'll flesh those out more as we go along. And then moving into January 4th, Winslow Crane Planned Unit Development, and that's going to be coming again on January.
Great. Is this, I think I've asked you this before, is this helpful for you to go all the way into January like this every time?
Sure.
Or is it redundant? Do we need to do it this far? Or?
I think it's been helpful, especially with adding many study session items as we have, at least pointing it out to make sure that we're giving us time to feel comfortable with it.
Okay. Good. Now for the council requests. We had a lot last night, didn't we?
We did. So we've got one that we're still kind of working out the details on, and that was on the, I was a little bit confused on the parks one. So, and that's on the park rules and some other things. So Krista's working with Christina on that one. And then we have.
And that one though, Allison, you sent something out to us, didn't you? It was during the meeting, I think, right?
Yeah, I sent you a copy of the code provisions having to do with the hours because she'd made a statement that she believed that council set the hours for, or winter hours, and that's not actually what your code says. Your code says that the hours are X,
Right.
and that the dog park hours are set by regulation, and regulations are set by the city manager. So I thought that was a relatively simple, straightforward question that wouldn't require an entire council request, so I just sent that information out.
Yeah. Right. I think one of the questions was the signage and what the signage changed and whether or not going into the winter it's accurate. I don't know. Yeah, you're figuring it out, right, Shawn? Because I think I was confused by the end of it too.
Yeah, I think we're going to go back and review the tape, and then and Christina took down the question too, because she was trying to answer as we were throughout the meeting.
Okay.
And then we also have what downtown property owners, business owners, and residents received information regarding the DDA election and what outreach has been done to electors. And it's the second part of that question, or third part. Can staff reach out to Mr. Ferris, who stated he has not received information about the election?
Yeah.
We have yours for compare and contrast the process for reviewing and processing the right-of-way abandonment application between Swedish and Mr. Hasing. Why was the format of the Title 16 review meetings that took place in parks changed after the first meeting? Will residents be given an opportunity to comment on Title 16 in subsequent meetings, similar to the first meeting held in the park? I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, I think what I've watched over time is when we do those meetings, people really do like a time all together and then break up and be able to go and ask questions. And it's been almost, I think it's been consistent every single time we get complaints when we don't do an all group presentation at our town halls.
Right.
And I don't know if there was something that they were trying to do differently because they thought it would help or what with the thinking, but I really do think we should try and follow a format that's fairly similar.
Yeah. It's really kind of a trend that I've seen in city government. It was certainly happening in Boulder County where, and maybe RTD invented it because they were tired of getting beaten up, but where they would present a concept as, a short presentation, but then immediately adjourn for people to just look at boards and write comments down as a way of capturing the comments. But I agree with you. We definitely have some members of the community, probably most communities, that don't love that.
Yeah, I agree that I can see why people would do that, because if you have people who are constantly there and against something, they can set the tone of the meeting. And I totally get that. I still think we have to do it in some way that is helpful to everybody to hear it all at once, so the noise doesn't drown out the specifics, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I do think that I mean, having an opportunity for people to write their comments is good, but I agree that we should just have some group discussion too.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I had was, since Logan Simpson wrote the comprehensive plan, is it a conflict of interest for them to conduct the outreach for Title 16 changes? Allison, is that the way you understood that question, or Linda?
Yeah.
I think we forwarded that one to you, Allison.
I'll look for it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
I think that's all I have too. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So I think we're ready to adjourn, right?
I think so.
Time is now 12:40 and this mayor manager meeting is adjourned. Everyone have a good rest of the week.
You too. Bye.
Take care. Bye.